Hey Magpies, good luck for the season. Work hard and success will come your way. Swoop down.
Not every day we turn up here to the Regional Sports Centre at Tuggerah and know that there's an Australian player here, and the girls chatting over here, obviously the under-16s and under-19s are over here trialling for the Central Coast, and they're all looking over their shoulders saying, is that Ash Gardner out there batting? You know, it must be a buzz for you coming to regional areas like this and being able to show people what you do.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's, I guess, being able to give back to communities.
Talk to us a bit about your journey. I mean, you've just won a Commonwealth Games gold medal. I'm sure when you started playing cricket, you probably didn't see that on the horizon because, I mean, cricket wasn't really even played at the Commonwealth Games back then. But how have you got to here today? Like, what are the pathways that you've followed to get to this point?
I guess like a lot of Aussie kids, it was just in the backyard with my older brother and my dad, and then I was fortunate enough to have some sort of cricketing talent and kind of found my way through the pathway programs pretty much from the age of 9 to 10, and then just playing for my state for school and then underage tournaments as well, and fortunate enough to get my first contract at 17 for the Breakers, and then I guess my career's just kind of let from there, and fortunate enough to play for my country now, and I've played for Australia for about 5 years, and it's obviously pretty amazing to be able to play for your country in any sport, but also call it a job. He's certainly really cool, and I guess it just shows to other people that there is a pathway for them to have a career in a sport, which is really awesome.
It's come such a long way though, hasn't it, the women's game? I mean, even 5 years ago to where it is now, you almost can't compare it.
No, it has grown a lot. Just from when I first got contracted compared to now, it's certainly grown a lot, and I guess that just comes back to the media exposure and things like that, where when I started playing, it certainly wasn't it wasn't there. I just assumed that I had to play with the boys growing up and had to represent Australia with the men as well, just because that just was the thing back then, and I guess it just shows how little it was exposed in comparison to now, where girls can turn on the TV and actually watch their idols rather than just watching the men, which is really cool. So it's certainly grown. There's still plenty of room for it to grow again, for girls to have this as a full-time career, being state players as well. So it's an exciting time to be involved in the game.
And what would you say to some of those girls over there today that are just starting their cricketing journey? What piece of advice would you give for them to hear it from Ash Gardner? It would mean a lot.
As simple as just enjoy it. I know sometimes it can be quite consuming playing sport, and you can get wrapped up in how you go all the time and be very performance driven, but I think if you're enjoying it, you're naturally going to be playing well, and I know that's what we get told still at the highest level, is to make sure that you're playing with a smile on your face and you're actually enjoying what you're doing, because it can be quite hard sometimes. So I think if you're having fun with your friends and you're enjoying what you're doing out there on the field, that's the most important thing.
Well, keep enjoying it, and certainly the fans, I know, enjoy watching you bat and bowl, so keep it up.
Thank you.
Hey Magpies, good luck for the season. Work hard and success will come your way. Swoop down.
Our squad and half of our squad is easily country players, so we know that the talent is still coming through. So absolutely love playing games like this.
What advice would you give to those young girls as they try and take those steps towards firstly representing the Central Coast and then potentially beyond?
Yeah, I think the key thing is it's all a game at the end of the day, and for them, they should remember that just keep enjoying it. It's a really easy sport to get stressed and in your own head about, and we've all experienced in the professional game, but I think as a kid it's all key just to make sure you keep enjoying it, and I know that's when we definitely play our best cricket.
It's hard though, isn't it, to not drop your head or you get tonked for a couple of fours or
it's
something.
It's a tough sport, yes, it's a very tough sport, and we're well aware that there's more bad days than good, but those good days definitely keep you in it and your teammates around you.
Hey Swoopstars, just want to say good luck for this upcoming season. You guys will smash it. Keep swooping down.
Have a great season, Lisrow Magpies. Swoop down.
Tell us about your journey. Tell us about what it was like for you when you were a little kid looking forward to another cricket season.
Yeah, like I said, it's always a privilege to give back to the game. I think it's so important to look after the development of the new era, the new generation, and the position I'm in as sort of a leader in Australian cricket. It's a privilege and it's an honour, and I think that's how you have to treat it. To continue to give back to the game. Yeah, I mean, this was the most exciting time of my career when I was a young kid. Coming up to the start of the season, you did your pre-season training and you hit balls and you're playing winter cricket, but the real cricket starts and it was always such a exciting time for me when growing up, that that first Saturday morning, 8:30 start, playing on synthetic or playing on turf, and just sort of recollecting now in my mind, it was an amazing time. So it's nice to be here in the Central Coast and be able to sort of talk about the game and launch their season that's coming up very soon.
Who was it for you that you loved as a 13-year-old?
Yeah, I think my idols probably started with my club players, my club first grade players that I used to look up to. The likes of Ryan Lelou, who played for Queensland, Greg Moller. Those guys are the guys that when I was young, probably around that 13, 14, you looked up to them because that's where you wanted to be at that stage. You wanted to play for your first grade team. And then, I always looked up to, my heroes as a kid, the likes of Jack Callis and A.B. de Villiers and, the likes of Ricky Ponting and those guys. Just love the way they went about the game. As you grow up, you start then, getting more into your state stuff and your state system and you're looking, you're looking up at, the likes of, Andy Bickle and that amazing era, Martin Love, those guys were amazing players for Queensland.
You talk about that love of club cricket, and the story was, I think, when you were touring in England last, that you're on the phone quite regularly talking to selectors and to your club back in Brisbane, helping with selection, talking about the boys who's going well, still have a huge interest. Was that a beat-up or was that fair income?
No, that's fair income. I said on the weekend, I actually watched, we played our first one-day game, club cricket. I was watching the live stream for a couple of hours while I was sitting in the sun, just, watching the boys play. Obviously I skipper the side now down at Redlands, so I was speaking to the club coach about our batting order, what we're thinking, who's in, who's out, how we, looking to balance the side. So I'm always involved. I just love the game, and a lot of the young kids there I've coached, and now they're playing first grade and they're playing, and they're in that junior system, that rep under 17, 19. So got a lot of interest there from just coaching some of them for 10 years now. So it's always something that I love being involved in. I love training, so I go down there to train, and I always catch up with the players, and like I said, I've always had a big involvement in club cricket. I think it's really important that as international players that we can still continue to give back to where it all started for us.
What were you like as a young batsman at 13, 14, 15, coming up through the ranks, trying to get into the grades and work your way up? Were you a big, big fence-clearing hitter, or were you a kid who relied on technical soundness and staying in and accumulating?
I mean, I certainly was very small. I only really started growing when I was about 17. So through my juniors, I was small, didn't have a lot of power, but I learned a few great lessons there. Whenever I played up in the age groups, I actually did well because I had good skill. I was able to use the pace, so when the bowling got faster, I was actually able to score more consistently. So that's just a part that I learned over time. And I think that served me really well now, that when you do get a bit bigger, you don't lose those skills that you use, from the under 12s, 13s, where you use the pace and you use the bowler's speed. And then you obviously just gain the ability to hit a few more boundaries and you get a bit more strength and fill out. So, a lot of those skills that I learned are vital in the success that I have now. Have a great season, Liz Road Magpies. Swoop down.